Hey, it's Noreen here. Today I've got this tutorial on how to create this sunflower in a flocked velvet effect using C&D shellac. If you'd like to keep up to date with my new spring nail art series, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that bell button to be notified every time I upload. I'm starting with a shellac manicure that's already been completed. This has 2 coats of taffy and has been finished with the C&D pearl top coat. Onto a mixing palette, I'm going to apply some C&D shellac in jellied and in banana clips. Next I'm going to take my Lucente D1 brush and show you how to do some flower petals. Think of like a rugby ball shape. If it helps, draw a straight line down the centre and then a little curve on each side, and that'll help to keep you symmetrical. So straight line, curve, curve in a slight rugby ball shape. It's also useful to split the nail into a 45-degree angle for your first petal, then go straight up for the next petal and straight across for the third petal. This is going to help with your spacing. Now you can go exactly in between the gap of each petal, straight line down, side, side like a little rugby ball shape, and that's going to keep your petals nice and uniform and so that you don't run out of any space. You're going to cleanse this brush with some 99% alcohol on a lint-free pad. Next we're going to come back in and we're going to draw with the darker yellow, so this is banana clips. In nature, most petals either have 3 or 5, it's rare to have an even number, so bear this in mind when you're drawing petals on the nail. Odd numbers always look best. You're just going to fill in these petals, not overlapping the previous shellac. Once that's done, I've got a cool little tip for you to help your shellac be more opaque in just one coat. So when doing nail art, just allow it to sit for a few seconds and go back in with a very tiny layer. It looks like I'm applying this quite thickly, but it's really very thin. It's just because I'm going over uncured product, the opacity of it becomes stronger. This isn't an issue when you're drawing with nail art on the nail. I wouldn't recommend this for painting with shellac, but for nail art purposes it's a great time saver. Before we cure this, I'm putting Retention Plus acrylic powder over the top, tapping any excess off, and I'm going to cure that on the 2S setting. Once it's cured, I'm going to wipe away all excess powder with some 99% alcohol and allow to dry. Next we're going to take some C&D shellac and Blackpool. When you're outlining anything, your pressure is so important. If you push down on the brush and lift off, you can see it changes the line shape, and similarly, if you don't have an even pressure the whole way through, your line is not going to be completely even. So for the best results, you must have an even product coverage, so take any excess off the tip, and then just keep your pressure a nice, light, but constant pressure the whole way, and that's the pressure you should have when you're outlining anything. I'm going to start outlining the top petals first. I like to start at the tip of the petal and using a very light and constant pressure, just trace around the outline, making sure to go right down to the paler yellow petals. Sometimes a little blob of product just at the tip helps the brush to flow a little bit more easily over the design. Go back in and fix anything that's too faint, and then you can move on to the paler petals. You're just going to use the exact same technique. You're just going to outline each petal all the way down to the bottom. Don't worry if it's not super neat the first time, you can go back over these, and if you do make a complete mess of it, you don't have to worry, you can absolutely cleanse the nail with some 99% IPA and start again. Once you've got all of your petals outlined, you're going to take a bigger blob and do a semicircle across the bottom. This is going to give the illusion of the centre of your sunflower. Fill it in, and once you have it filled in, use the very tips of your brush and drag upwards, lifting up and off to create a tapered tip. This is just going to give your flower a little bit more dimension. We're going to do the exact same steps as before, and we're going to put some Retention Plus clear powder over it, tap off the excess and cure on the 2S setting. Cleanse the nail again with IPA once cured, and once it's dry you can really see that flocked velvet effect that this technique gives. And there you have it guys, that's how I've created this third springtime look of the sunflowers. I hope you enjoyed it, please give this a like if you have, and I'll see you in the next video.